you've ever watched any preachers from the movement known as New Apostolic Reformation, you've likely heard the phrase, "touch not God's anointed," uttered a few times. This verse has become a shield behind which many so-called Christian teachers hide when anyone challenges their teaching. There are two places where we find this teaching in the Bible: 1 Chronicles 16:22 and Psalm 105:15. This has become one of the most misused scriptures in the entire Bible. Today, we will look at what the Bible really says when it says, "touch not my anointed." As with all biblical exegesis, we must look at the context, so let's do just that. First, the Bible does not say that the anointed will never be criticized. Luke 11:49 actually warns that the opposite will happen. Therefore also the wisdom of God said, "I will send them prophets and apostles, some of whom they will kill and persecute." Now let's take a look at 1 Chronicles 16:22. This is the verse where you will see saying, "Touch not my anointed ones, do my prophets no harm." You'll see the same referred to in Psalms. Here David is praising God and giving a summary of the history of Israel. He talks about some of the miracles God fulfilled to keep his promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So let's read the verses leading up to 1 Chronicles 16:22. And let's go back to verse 19. "When you were few in number, of little account, and sojourners in it, wandering from nation to nation, from one kingdom to another people, he allowed no one to oppress them. He rebuked kings on their account, saying, 'Touch not my anointed ones, do my prophets no harm.'" This passage clearly refers to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who were the patriarchs. When they were few in number, they wandered, a reference to Abraham and his sons, which you can see if you refer back to Hebrews 11:9. And we'll actually go back to verse 8. "By faith Abraham obeyed when he would go out to a place that he was to receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. By faith he went to live in the land of promise, as in a foreign land, living in tents with Isaac and Jacob, heirs with him of the same promise." So the anointed here are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The point of the verse that no one was able to derail God's plan for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The patriarchs were his prophets. They were the anointed ones. It's also interesting that it was David who was doing the praising, as it is the situation involving David in 1 Samuel 26:9-11 that is also often used by some who use the "touch not God's anointed" phrase as a shield from criticism. Here we see King Saul was trying to kill David, so David and his men were running. One night, David's men came upon Saul and his army while they were asleep. Abishai was happy that they had the advantage over their enemies and suggested that they kill Saul while he slept. But here we see David's response: "Do not destroy him, for who can put out his hand against the Lord's anointed and be guiltless?" And David said, "As the Lord lives, the Lord will strike him, or his day will come to die, or he will go down into battle and perish. The Lord forbid that I put out my hand against the Lord's anointed. But take now the spear that is at his head in a jar of water, and let us go." One key thing to notice in David's case is he is talking about physically harming Saul, killing him. This is not David saying, "I cannot talk bad about Saul," or "I cannot point out things that Saul said that were not correct." The command, "touch not my anointed," referred to a specific people at a specific time. God protected Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob from physical harm. Notice none of the New Testament apostles ever said, "touch not God's anointed," as a way to avoid criticism. The Greek word for anointed is Christos, and it means made sacred or dedicated to God. All believers are God's anointed. There are no special anointed teachers who are above reproach. So when you hear a teacher or preacher attempt to hide behind the phrase, "touch not God's anointed," know that they are trying to shame you for questioning them. They are placing themselves on a pedestal, looking down at you, thinking they are better than you. Such teachers should be marked and avoided, as we are taught in Romans 16. So I hope this video offered some clarification for you. And if there are any other verses you would like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. May God bless and keep you, and have a wonderful day.